The University of Maryland is pleased to present the class of 2019. Ms. Bita Riazi, our 2019 commencement student speaker, is leading the procession with the University Gonfalon. She is followed by Marshals Dr. Marcia Gensler-Stevens and Dr. Robert Infantino. Adam Crooks, College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. Antonia Gavri-Rozo, College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences. Taylor Omari Smith, Robert H. Smith School of Business. Samantha Kennedy, School of Public Health. Will Nix, Graduate School. Aaliyah Partman, School of Agriculture and Natural Sciences. Andrew Stover, School of Public Policy. Emily Gerard, College of Information Studies. Julia Ji-Yoon Rowe, A. James Clark School of Engineering. Erin Hill, College of Arts and Humanities. Adam Hermiter, School of Architecture, Planning and Preservation. Sonia Dada, Undergraduate Studies. Greta Eastrom, Philip Merrill College of Journalism. Hannah Rose Stein, College of Education. A reminder to our graduates, please remain standing in front of your chairs. Once again, a reminder to all of our graduates, please remain standing in front of your chairs. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the senior marshals and the graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the ROTC commanders, faculty, and staff. ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the platform party for your 2019 Winter Commencement. Everyone, please remain standing silently for the presentation of the colors by the University of Maryland Honor Guard and for the singing of the National Anthem by Nina Anderson, a senior in the music professional program with a music performance voice minor and a minor in French studies. She will be accompanied by the University of Maryland Wind Ensemble under the baton of Craig Potter.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Presiding over these exercises is Dr. Wallace Lowe, President of the University of Maryland.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2019 Winter Commencement exercises of the University of Maryland. We will begin with a moment of reflection led by Imam Tarif Shraim, the University of Maryland Muslim chaplain.
Today is a very special day. It's a day in which we celebrate with joy your accomplishments, the accomplishments of our 2019 graduating class at the University of Maryland. Today we express our deepest gratitude to our parents, teachers, and mentors, without whom none of us would be here. Today, let us enjoy the fruits of our labor and pause. Pause to remind ourselves that life is hard, but it's beautiful, generous, and astonishing. That despite all setbacks and painful moments, here we are. That our trials are always sharpening us as iron sharpens iron and preparing us for better things in our lives. As we proceed forward, may we recognize that living beautiful, meaningful, and fulfilling lives lies not in getting more, but in giving more, and decide to walk the path of those enlightened and inspiring souls, the souls that will eternally be remembered and adored. Those souls that walk with a sense of humility and concern for every living thing, that see in others what they cannot see in themselves, and do for them what they cannot do for themselves. The souls that have this knowing inside of them that whatever good they do will always find its way back to them. May we live or refuse to live indifferently. May we decide to anchor our lives around a purpose bigger than ourselves and strive to bring out of ourselves and out of others what is most beautiful, most vibrant, and most life-affirming. May we recognize that right now we have the capacity and choice to either look forward or look backward, to complain or to say thank you, to hate or to love, to cause someone to cry or to wipe a tear, to oppress or to be just and kind, to break or to restore, to frown or to smile. It is all our choice. May we see that when we fill our lives with the obvious good choices, we will not only heal and find fulfillment, but others around us will also be healed, restored, and inspired. May we live gratefully, and may we inspire and touch everyone and everything around us with our grateful and compassionate presence now and forever. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Shraim, for your inspiring words of reflection. Thank you, Nita Anderson, a senior in vocal performance, and you're graduating, I believe, in spring, right? In May of 2020. And thank you to the University of Maryland Wind Ensemble conducted by Craig Potter. It was a glorious rendition of our national anthem. And thank you to University Honor Guard. So let me begin by recognizing The first 2 rows or so, which are occupied by graduates this evening who are serving as marshals at this commencement, and they were selected on the basis of their academic accomplishments and their contributions to campus life. So I would like to ask you, so that we can congratulate you and thank you, would you please rise? Thank you. We have about 10,000 faculty and staff at this university who educate and support our students. Some are here this evening. So for the faculty and staff who are seated in the audience, those on the platform will be recognized later. Would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you for being here. Now, many years ago, when I presided over my first commencement, a good friend, an Irish priest, came up to me and said, "Wallace, let me give you a little bit of advice as you go into a commencement ceremony. Just remember that the speaker at a commencement ceremony is like the body at an old-fashioned Irish wake. They need the body to have a party, but nobody expects it to say very much. So I hope we shall, those of us who are speaking on this platform, consider that advice, myself included, to be mercifully brief in our remarks. Our first speaker is Andrew Needham. He is a student member on the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, and he is a Terp. Now, you should know that he was a College Park Scholar here. He majored in biology, I believe. But more interestingly, you may want to know that he was captain of the Maryland mascot team. You know what that means? He's the one who put on that testudo uniform at every single game. And more significantly, he was a member of the University of Maryland 2013 National Cheerleading Championship. And now he is engaged in more mundane pursuits, such as getting a law degree at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. So Andrew, would you please come forward? Welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe, for the great introduction there. Good evening. I am pleased to be with you today, both to offer my congratulations on behalf of the University System of Maryland and the entire Board of Regents, and, as Dr. Lowe mentioned, as a proud Terp, class of 2013. It is an honor to share this occasion with your president, Wallace Lowe. The University of Maryland, the state's flagship campus, is a special place. It is a force for education, research and discovery, and public service. By any measure, rankings, research activity, faculty accomplishments, or student achievements, it stands as one of the finest universities in the country and the world. The University of Maryland represents what is best about public higher education. It is also a great privilege to join our commencement speaker, General James R. Clapper, the former Director of National Intelligence. I very much look forward to his address. But most importantly, I am honored to be here to recognize and congratulate you, the University of Maryland graduating class. I know firsthand that what you have accomplished has taken hard work, persistence, and dedication. I also know your family and friends take a great deal of pride in what you have accomplished. They have shared in your sacrifice and certainly should share in your success today. Today, you graduate from an institution recognized nationally and internationally. for excellence, and you become an enduring part of that proud and impressive legacy. No matter what direction your life now takes, no matter what challenges you next confront, know that your education here has prepared you well. Once again, congratulations. The entire University System of Maryland family wishes you all the best in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for serving on the Board of Regents. Now, I would like to introduce the members of the platform party. As you can see, there are quite a few. And so when I call your name, would you please stand up and perhaps remain standing? But I would ask the audience to please withhold your applause until everybody has been recognized or will be here until midnight. And no, I have a better idea. Because these are very distinguished people and they should be recognized. So may I suggest, instead of prolonged applause, after I recognize each individual, do a one-clap applause. All right? Then it will move more quickly. All right. Joanne Bauman, Senior Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs at the University System of Maryland, and she is a geneticist. And now we can do the one clap applause. Great. Gary Atman, a member of the Board of Regents, a TERP, and a lawyer, and he's the CEO of Future Care Health Corporation. Mary Ann Ranking, Senior Vice President and Provost, and a biologist. John Zacher, Interim Vice President for Student Affairs, a TERP who got his PhD in higher education. Carlo Colella, Vice President for Administration and Finance, a TERP. He is a civil engineer. Jacqueline Lewis, Vice President for University Relations, and she's the person leading the $1.5 billion capital campaign, Fearless Ideas. Where are you? Oh, she's not here. Lori Locasio, Vice President for Research, and she is a bioengineer and toxicologist. Michael Poterella, Vice President and General Counsel. He's a lawyer, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, why do you need to have two lawyers in administration? Because I'm also a lawyer and he's a lawyer. So I should clarify this in case you think that we are, top heavy. He is a real lawyer. Me, I'm a public interest lawyer. That means it's in the public interest that I do not practice law. Jeff Hollingsworth, Vice President and Chief Information Officer. Georgina Dodge. Oh, there you are, Georgina, Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion. And she is an honorary TERP. And I would just add this. She's an honorary TERP because when she finished high school, she enrolled in the Navy. And she was there for many, many years, stationed somewhere in the Far East. And the first college course she took was a course in English. It was an online course from the University of Maryland. So welcome back to University of Maryland. Oh, one applause. Our fearless Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Damon Evans. Jim Spencer, President of the Maryland Alumni Association. Amy Eichhorst, Executive Director of the Maryland Alumni Association. Brigadier General Paul Johnson, Commander of the 175th Wing of the Maryland Air National Guard, and a TERP. And I may add that his wife is also a TERP. This place is just full of TERPs. Ireland Leslie, President of the Student Government, a senior who's going to be graduating this spring, majoring in government and politics. Pamela Lamford, the chair of the University Senate. She's also the director of Animal Research and Support. She got her PhD here. Marcia Gensler-Stevens and Robert Infantino. Marcia is the director of Stamp Union. Robert Infantino is one of the deans at the College of Mathematical and Natural Sciences and something else. Are they here?
Computer, math, and natural sciences.
Tell me again.
Computer, math, and natural sciences.
Thank you for being corrected. Computer, math, and natural sciences. Correct? Thank you. Let's see. Oh, Martha Nell Smith, the University Marshal. And you should know that Professor Smith is the world's leading scholar on the poetry of Emily Dickinson. It is rumored that she knows by heart all 1,778 poems of Emily Dickinson. That's quite an accomplishment. Now, will all the deans stand up because they will be introducing themselves later in the program, but at this time, will they please all stand up? And I think we should, they're not on the platform, but they're in the audience, but I would like to recognize the commanders of the various ROTC programs at University of Maryland. I will call your name, and please stand up after I call your name. Colonel David Bacot, Air Force ROTC. Captain Troy Mong, Navy ROTC. Lieutenant Colonel Marissa Pace, Army ROTC. Now, please join me in a real round of applause. Thank you. At each commencement, the university asks one student to address the graduating class. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Bida Riasi. Bida? Stand here for a moment, because I believe that your parents and friends are somewhere in this audience. Are they? There they are. Let's give them a round of applause. It's a long journey that led Bida here. And it's time for me to shut up and let her tell her own story. Welcome, Bida.
Thank you, President Lowe. I would like to share a story with you all about a warrior against fear. A warrior woman left her country to come to the United States so that her only daughter could have access to education and equality. She left everything she knew, not knowing what stood before her. She started from scratch, learned a new language, found a way to provide for her family, made new friends, yet worst of all, left behind her mother, father, and 6 brothers. This woman is my mother. Her name is Azar, and it means fire in Farsi. And just like fire, her fears fueled her to provide a better life for her daughter. You see, we are all afraid of something. Every single one of us. Some cringe at the thought of planes, loneliness, heights. Others wince when trying something new, of commitment and public speaking. Fear triggers uncertainty, and uncertainty does not guarantee success. But what is guaranteed in this life? For a long time, my personal fear was going back to school. Having earned my associate's degree from Montgomery College, I planned to transfer to the University of Maryland when unexpectedly, I became my father's full-time caretaker. I was also working around the clock to help my mother, and the next thing I knew, 5 years had passed. During this time, I heard my best friends talk about their college experiences. The narrations of my fears continued. What if I go back and fail? What if I'm incapable of keeping up? What if I'm too old to learn new concepts? So my automatic response became, do not go back. Hiding from my fear became the most comfortable option. We all have moments in our lives where we have felt excited yet terrified. That first time we came to campus, turning in that final, checking obsessively to see our grades. We studied abroad in places that were unfamiliar to us. We worked to find solutions to difficult problems with groups such as Engineers Without Borders and the Do Good Institute. As time went on, our fears subsided. The things that once were challenges became accomplishments. I wonder what it would be like if we had not stepped into that fear. What if that fear kept us in the exact same place we started? Bitoy biham toy binazir shah hizanon is what my grandfather used to call me. In Farsi, this means the only one, the leader of women. So, this warrior within me, similar to the one that exists within my mother, was not okay with this automatic response to stay away from school. The lineage of a strong matriarchy that runs within my blood propelled me to dig deeper into my fear. I began to seek out information about the University of Maryland, which led me to speak with faculty members about returning to school. I will never forget, on that day in August of 2016, I told myself, enough is enough. You can do anything you set your mind to. Returning to school has led me to so many opportunities. When I got to know my fellow Terps, I learned that you too were afraid of things. Things like being vocal, vulnerable, stepping outside your comfort zones. But your fears, they did not stop you. And it was in those moments where you inspired me and you gave me courage. We step into our fears. We understand that the fear of inaction is worse than the fear of failure. If we realized how powerful our thoughts are, we would never think a negative or fear-based thought again. If we realized the power of our words, we would never engage in negative self-talk. So instead of asking ourselves, what if I fail? We must begin asking ourselves, what if I do not take action? Like my mother, we become warriors against fear. It takes a village to raise a warrior, and I could not have done this without mine. The supportive family, friends, and faculty. I know we all have people in villages that made today possible. It is now our responsibility to create that village, to be those people for the generations to come. As we graduate and we step forward despite our fears, we have the opportunity to make our communities, our country, and our world a better place. Class of Fall 2019, today marks the first of many milestones to come. Although we depart, the experiences we shared will remain. Know that our journey does not end here. It begins. As we crawl out of our comfort zones, walk into uncertainty, and finally step into our fears. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Bida, for sharing your inspiring story. Like your mother, you too are a warrior woman. And as I was listening to you speak, of course, it resonated with me very personally since I too am an immigrant and came here at a very young age. This is a nation of immigrants, and what your experience shows is that higher education is indeed the great equalizer of conditions in a democracy. That's a passport to economic opportunity, and higher education is the future of our nation. I would like to introduce Michael Butler. Michael Butler, as he walks up, is a junior who's earning a degree in music performance with a minor in German studies. Are you going to tell them the aria you're singing, or do you want me to? Because it's in German and I don't read German. Yes, in English, please.
The aria that I will be singing is Dein ist mein ganzes Herz by Franz Lehar, which translates to You are my heart's delight.
Sein. So
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your wonderful performance, touching us with your voice and your spirit. As you all know, the University of Maryland is one of the great STEM institutions in the country: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I hope that when you see and hear the Michael Butlers are very talented performers with the Wind Ensemble, Nina Anderson here on the stage. We are not only a STEM institution, we are a STEAM institution: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. A special committee of faculty, staff, and students annually selects our commencement speaker. And we are very, very privileged to have today's commencement speaker, who will be introduced by Annie Rappaport, the president of the Graduate Student Government. She is currently a PhD student in international education and peace studies.
Good evening and congratulations, fellow Terps. I have the distinct honor to welcome to the University of Maryland the 4th United States Director of National Intelligence, retired Lieutenant General James R. Clapper, a proud fellow Terp. General Clapper's military career began in 1961 when he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. Later, while studying government and politics at Maryland, he switched to Air Force ROTC. After graduation, General Clapper served as an air crewman, as an intelligence analyst, and went on to become the Air Force Assistant Chief of Staff for Intelligence during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. He directed intelligence for 3 of the major combatant commands and served as director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. He also led the agency responsible for satellites and other intelligence imagery. Throughout his career, General Clapper has worked to build cooperation and unity within the Intelligence Committee. He has been awarded 3 National Intelligence Distinguished Service Medals, 2 Defense Distinguished Service Medals, the Air Force Distinguished Service Medal, the Coast Guard's Distinguished Public Service Award, 3 Department of Defense Distinguished Civilian Service Awards, the Presidentially Conferred National Security Medal, and many other U.S. civilian and military as well as foreign government awards. We're going to begin by watching a video about General Clapper. Well, your applause already kind of welcomed him, but there's a little bit more in the script. So let's all please do a little bit more applause and welcome to the podium Lieutenant General Clapper.
Well, thanks, Annie, for your very gracious introduction. Never had one that was illustrated. Dr. Lowe, faculty and staff, graduates, family and friends, fellow Terps. When Dr. Lowe asked me to serve as commencement speaker, I naturally thought back to my commencement ceremony, which was held on June 8, 1963, in the old Cole Fieldhouse. My connection to the university since then has meant a great deal to me over the years, including interaction with ROTC cadets, induction into the university's Hall of Fame, and designation last year as the outstanding veteran alumnus. And incidentally, I want to thank the veterans for presenting me with a very spiffy Terp scarf tonight. I appreciate that. So all to say, this is a great honor for me, and I want to say to Dr. Lowe publicly now, thanks from the heart for this invitation. It's very, very special to me. Now the truth is, I couldn't remember who my commencement speaker was, much less what the commencement speaker said. Fortunately, through some 23 moves in the Air Force and another 2.5 decades after I retired from service in uniform, for some reason, I had hung on to the program from that commencement of over 56 years ago. So I looked in it, and it turns out my graduation speaker was then Vice President Lyndon Johnson. Having said that, I have absolutely no memory of what he said on June 8, 1963. But on a serious note, the events of 5 months later, when President Kennedy died and Johnson became president, are forever seared into my mind, much like the events of September 11th, 2001. And while I'm deeply honored to be asked to speak, I also understand I'm not supposed to talk long enough until you all have a life-changing epiphany. Now, my wife, Sue, who's here tonight, who also attended in Maryland, always reminds me in a situation like this to be seen, be heard, and be seated. We've been married over 54 years, and I will tell you, yes, and I will tell you that I never knew what happiness was until I got married, and then it was too late. Only kidding, only kidding. So I want to briefly share two things with you. The two most impactful influences in my life, besides my wife, and three messages I'd like to briefly convey to the graduates. First, for the graduates, if your parents are still alive, and particularly if they're here today, give them a hug. And let me explain why I say that. After I retired from the third time in 2017, I wrote a memoir about growing up in and then working in the profession of intelligence for over 50 years. And writing the book was both a cathartic and it was also an opportunity to be contemplative. It was only through this experience that I fully comprehended the tremendous influence my parents had on me, unfortunately, long after they're gone. My dad served in the Army as an intelligence officer for 28 years during World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He taught me a lot through his living example about leadership, patriotism, humility, and duty. And I guess I probably inherited the intelligence gene from him. Now, in contrast, my mother's life lessons were less regimented. And I'll share a vignette about her from when I was about 11 years old that occurred in 1952. You can do the math. We were stationed at a remote post on the northernmost island of Japan, Hokkaido. As all mothers do, my mother insisted I go to the dentist for regular checkups, which I typically dreaded and greatly disliked. Now, as it turned out, the dentist we had on this remote post was a black first lieutenant, and he was great with me, and he almost made it going to the dentist an enjoyable experience. My mother really appreciated him and the way he treated me. Now, in those days, the center of social life on an Army post, particularly one so remote, was the officers' club. I remember every Sunday my dad and mom made my sister and me get all dressed up to attend brunch at the officers' club. All the officers were in their dress uniforms, and the wives were in their Sunday best. There'd always be a Japanese band playing great imitations of American popular music. So for my sister and me, enduring these brunches was a mild form of torture. So one Sunday, the black lieutenant dentist was there sitting at a table all by himself on the periphery of this big dining room. President Truman had issued an executive order 4 years before desegregating the military. It may have been desegregated institutionally, but it certainly wasn't socially. My mother, without saying anything, deliberately waited until the band took a break, and then I thought rather ostentatiously walked over to the dentist's table, invited him to sit at our table, and took him by the hand to escort him. Now, you could have heard a pin drop as all eyes in the room turned first to my mother And then to my father, with a lot of the senior officers, all of whom were white, of course, staring at him with the look of, "Can't you control your wife?" So we made room for the black dentist at our table and had our brunch. The reason I remember this episode so vividly, some 67 years later, is that while my mother talked incessantly about a lot of things, most of which I don't recall, she never said a word about what she did or why she did it on that particular day. It was, of course, set an example by action. She imparted in me some strong convictions about why inequality and discrimination are such corrosive influences in the home, the workplace, or society in general. She taught me that regardless how uncomfortable it is, sometimes you have to take a stand, maybe publicly, for what's right. So no matter what your relationship with your parents or your perceptions of their faults, you should appreciate them and the influence they've had on you, particularly during your younger formative years. Literally and figuratively, you wouldn't be here today were it not for them. So as I said, give them a hug. The other major influence in my life has been the University of Maryland. My education here provided the foundation and the tools for whatever professional success I've been fortunate enough to experience. My mother and father provided my spiritual underpinnings for me. This institution honed my intellectual capabilities. I earned a bachelor's in government politics, and what I took away from my education here was the ability to quickly assimilate information, then to master to the degree needed just about on any given subject. And in the course of my intelligence career, I often encountered and was required to at least understand widely diverse, technical, complex subjects, particularly as I occupied increasingly senior positions. Another legacy of my education here is the ability to communicate, which is absolutely vital in the business of intelligence. That is, transmitting information by writing and speaking, the active forms of communication, and the less heralded but no less important passive forms of communication, receiving information by reading and listening, something we don't do too well sometimes these days. So those two major influences, my parents and my alma mater, had immeasurable impact on me and my life. Now for those three messages I wanted to impart. My first message, be kind and humble. In my book, got to mention that, it's out in paperback now, so it's a lot cheaper. I recount the experience I lived through after my second tour of duty in Southeast Asia. At a fairly early stage in my career, 8 years after I graduated from here and was commissioned as an officer in the Air Force, I was assigned to the office of the Director of the National Security Agency just a few miles away from here at Fort Meade. I was a military assistant to the director, a position normally assigned to a much more senior officer. By happenstance, over 2 years, I worked for two successive directors, a Navy Vice Admiral for a year and his successor, an Air Force Lieutenant General. Both of them were promoted to 4-star rank when they left NSA. Now, since they're long dead, I can now speak about them candidly. The first was Vice Admiral Noel Guyler, a highly decorated World War II naval aviator. He was smart, an intellectual bully at times, swashbuckling, demanding, and sometimes intimidating. People were afraid of him because he would often shoot the messenger who brought him bad news, and he was very risk and mistake averse. His successor was Lieutenant General Sam Phillips, who had previously served as the director of the Apollo program, which put the first man on the moon. Like Admiral Guyler, General Phillips was very smart, brilliant in fact, but he was quiet, humble, a true gentleman who rarely, if ever, was in attack dog mode. The entire agency palpably relaxed once the employees got to watch him in action. Instead of working to not fail and get yelled at, people worked to help General Phillips succeed. Now, to be clear, the agency accomplished its mission under both directors. But what I learned from that living laboratory experience was that over the long haul, you'll get more out of people if you treat them considerately. I don't mean this just in the context of a superior-subordinate relationship, but in all relationships. You and those around you will be more productive, positive, and happy when you treat those people considerately. Particularly if you're involved in endeavors where you want to motivate people to use their intellects and to go the extra mile. As my mother used to say, you'll get more with sugar than you will with vinegar. It's an old saw, but there's some good wisdom there. 20 years later, 1991, when I became a three-star officer and director of another intelligence agency, I tried very hard to apply the lessons, both positive and negative, that I had learned as a young officer working directly for and closely observing two senior officers with starkly contrasting leadership styles. So, that's my first message, be kind and humble. My second message is, if all else fails, use common sense. Now, ancient tribal wisdom tells you that when you discover you're riding a dead horse, the obvious common sense thing to do is to dismount. Well, in Washington, in government generally, but particularly in Washington, or in corporate life, we often like to try other less successful strategies, such as we'll buy a stronger whip to make the dead horse go faster. We'll change riders on the dead horse. We'll say things like, this is the way we've always ridden this horse. We'll appoint a focus group to revive the dead horse. We'll hire outside contractors to ride the dead horse. We'll team several dead horses, hoping that one of them will magically spring to life. We'll provide additional funding and training to increase the dead horse's performance. We'll declare that since a dead horse doesn't have to be fed, it's less costly, carries lower overhead, and contributes more to the mission than live horses. And finally, my all-time favorite, we'll promote the dead horse to a supervisory position. So, thank you. My second message, use common sense. If you realize you're riding a dead horse, metaphorically speaking, get off and do something different. My third, last, and perhaps most important message, be a champion for the truth. Rand Corporation recently published a book which I commend to your reading. It's cleverly and aptly entitled Truth Decay. What this speaks to is the growing disregard for facts, data, and objective analysis in our political and civil discourse in this country. This is something that's been going on here for about 20 years, but it's grown more serious and more insidious. This truth decay encompasses four interrelated trends. First, increasing disagreement about facts and the analytical interpretation of facts and data. For example, the debate about the safety of vaccines or climate change. The second trend is a blurring of the distinction between opinion and fact, something my network does sometimes, or the print media. The growing volume and resulting influence of opinions and personal experiences as fact. Just read social media. And the fourth trend is the declining trust in formerly respected sources of factual information. For example, disbelief in the major TV network nightly news broadcasts, the government, books, the judiciary, you name it. As college graduates, you are intellectual leaders and opinion shapers, and you need to set the example by insisting on truth. Now, at this stage in my life, having rounded third base on the home run of life, I believe one of my obligations now is recruiting, to get young people interested in government service, and particularly in the national security realm. I visited a couple dozen colleges and universities since I left the government, and one of my big messages when I speak to students, and now to all of you graduates, is don't believe everything you see, read, or hear on the internet. The reason I feel so strongly about this and wanted to enlist your help is truth decay is profoundly poisonous to our democracy or any democracy. If we can't or don't want to even try to agree on basic facts, we're in a bad place. And our adversaries, I can assure you, notably Russia, are exploiting this truth decay in our country. This university has given you the tools as they did to me. And it's up to you to use them to seek, advocate, and insist on the truth. So that's it. The two most important influences on my life and my three messages that I hope might in some small way influence yours. It's been my honor to have this opportunity to speak to you from this podium on the occasion of this significant life milestone. Congratulations to the graduates, to your families and friends who helped get you to this point, and God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, General Clapper, for your powerful messages, and God bless you as well.
Thank you. Oh, how cool.
Yes.
Terrapin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Clapper, for your powerful message. And the three themes that I will always carry with me from your speech today: be kind, be humble, be truthful. Those are powerful words indeed. Thank you so much. And I also want to say, General Clapper, because I watch you almost every other night on TV, thank you for your service to our country, and you are one great American patriot. We are very honored this evening to recognize another distinguished alumnus. He is the president of the Maryland State Senate. He has held the post for about 33 years. He's the longest serving Senate president, not only in Maryland, but in the United States. And to introduce Senator Miller, I call upon Regent Gary Atman.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. Congratulations, graduates. Great to be here today, and to have the honor to say a few words on behalf of the Board of Regents about our special honoree, Senate President Mike Miller. Dear graduates, as we sit in this beautiful arena, as we walk around campus every day, it is hard to realize the University of Maryland did not always look so grand. The academic requirements and reputation were not nearly what they are today, nor was the ranking of our university or the research expenditures, were they as high as they are today. All of these things have come about because of the work of many, including great leaders like President Lowe, our wonderful faculty, and very importantly, the help of our Maryland state government. After all, this is the University of Maryland, and it would not be what it is without the vision and support of our Maryland government leaders. And graduates, no leader, inside or out of government, has done as much to advance the interests of the University of Maryland as Senator Mike Miller. Every building built on this campus within the last 30 years has had his encouragement and blessing and bears a direct connection to Senator Miller. Every major innovation over the last several decades has had his input and support. Senator Miller has encouraged us to think of our school as a great university, and with his leadership, we have become just that. Thank you, Senator Miller, for all that you have done throughout your lengthy career for your alma mater, our beloved, outstanding University of Maryland. It is my honor, on behalf of the Board of Regents, to welcome you today as we honor you for your service. Without question, our university would not be where it is today without Maryland's great leader, Senate President Mike Miller. Thank you.
Please be seated. To paraphrase Confucius, one video is worth 1,000 words. So rather than add more to the remarks of Regent Atman, please roll the video.
Maryland Senate President Thomas V. Mike Miller Jr. is a native son, proud Terp, and fearless champion of our state. Throughout his 5 decades of service to the state of Maryland, Miller has led historic investments in public education, critical protections for the environment, and urgent public safety and health legislations. The University of Maryland graduate was first elected in 1970 to the Maryland House of Delegates. Miller went to the state Senate in 1974 and rose to the Senate presidency in 1987. He is the longest-serving Senate president in Maryland and U.S. history. Of his many accomplishments, one of Miller's most important was the passage of the Bridge to Excellence in Public Schools Act, which led to a new era of investment and achievement in Maryland public schools. Miller has received numerous awards and accolades for his dedication to the public good, such as the Tizer Medallion Award for outstanding service to the University of Maryland. Mike Miller, Marylander, public servant, Terp.
It is now my distinct honor to bestow upon President Mike Miller the Honorary Doctorate of Public Service. I ask him to please join me at the podium, and Provost Rankin, please come forward to read the citation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Because he is a student and shaper of history, because he loves education and treasures good government, because he rose through state schools and made certain others could as well, because his life embodies the virtue of public higher education, and because these are values we seek to teach our students.
Under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents and the University System of Maryland, and by the authority that the board has delegated to me, I am pleased and proud to confer upon Senate President Thomas Mike Miller the degree Doctor of Public Service.
So much. Congratulations. Okay, we're honored. Thank you very much.
And we will put it on the side.
Okay, great. Put it at the back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Folks, thank you very much. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here. General Clapper, thank you for your kind words. Be humble, be kind, be truthful. I'd also add, be a good listener. You know, I wasn't the brightest student here at College Park, and so I worry about asking dumb questions. And so I turned to my fellow on the left, and I said, what does the red stand for? And he said, oh, it's just a color. So you can figure out who the guy on the left is. And then I turned to the lady on my right and said, what does the red robe stand for? And she thought I said rose, R-O-S-C. And she goes, passion. I said, passion? They gave me a red robe because of passion? But anyway, usually I wear purple because I'm a lawyer. But anyway, I'm honored to wear a Terp color. I'll always be a Terp. So anyway, Dr. Lowe, thank you for this award. General Clapper, thank you for your outstanding service. We're very honored to be on the stage with you. You honor me with this award, and I'm going to honor you by being very brief. I'm the oldest of 10 kids. I've been to a few graduations. I got 5 children. I got 15 grandchildren. And I know what today is like. It's a rainy day outside, but it's always fair weather when Terps come together, especially on a graduation day. So we've had the best of all possible worlds, haven't we? Best of all possible worlds. One, we're citizens of this great United States. Two, we're proud residents of the state of Maryland. And three, you and I are proud graduates of the University of Maryland College Park. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you for this award. I truly honor you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
President Miller, this is not in my script, but I would like to give you a personal token of my deep appreciation, respect, and affection for you. And I'm going to award you, and we've known each other for almost 10 years, but I've never given this to you. I'm going to give to President Miller, Dr. Miller, this gold terrapin pin. Again, thank you, President Miller. You honor us by accepting this honorary degree. So now we have come to the moment that you have been waiting for, the presentation for the degrees. I'm going to ask each of the deans to step forward, one at a time, introduce themselves, and then to say a few words about their college. I know they are very proud of their college and the work that's being done in those schools. And I'm sure they'll do so with their typical flair and exuberance. And of course, I invite you, the graduates, to stand up and cheer when your college is announced.
Good evening. My name is Joe Sullivan. I'm Associate Dean for Academic Programs in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, and I'm pleased to be standing in, but disappointed to be standing in for Dr. Craig Beiruti, who was called away this morning on a family emergency. However, would the graduates please stand from AGNR? You know, the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources is the founding college of our university, as we like to call it, the cornerstone college of the university, and you've heard Dean Beiruti speak that many times I'm sure. I'm very pleased and honored and proud to be able to congratulate you and bring congratulations from the faculty and staff of the college for this. We couldn't be more proud of you. You've dedicated yourselves to tackling some of the most difficult, complex problems that we're facing in society today, and we appreciate that. With the training and education you've received and the experiences you've received in this college, you'll be able to become the future leaders that will work to solve the global problems of hunger, eliminating hunger, protecting our environment, providing a sustainable world for us through your innovation and your technologies. Thank you for spending your time on that. We'll be proud of you. We're looking forward to watching your achievements in the future, to seeing the contributions that you will make to solving these problems in the world. I congratulate you, welcome you in as our newest alumni, and go Terps.
Good evening, Maryland. My name is Don Linebaugh, and I'm the proud Dean of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. Will the amazing graduates of Maryland's Built Environment School please stand? All right. So our fearless graduates leave Maryland prepared to design, plan, develop, and preserve the communities and neighborhoods we call home, creating sustainable, equitable, just, and beautiful places for us to live, work, and play. In a year of so much troubling news, I feel great optimism because of our amazing, dedicated students who are out there winning national and international competitions, to create more equitable and sustainable communities for all. They took first place in the HUD Innovation and Affordable Housing Competition each of the last 2 years, and first place among over 240 national and international teams in the Timber in the City Sustainable Design Competition. With our, yeah, you can clap, thank you. With our great colleagues in engineering education and the libraries, our fearless interdisciplinary team of Terps will soon head to Dubai next year to compete to the 2020 Solar Decathlon Middle East competition, taking their award-winning REACT Solar House. And finally, our students are committed to doing good. They strive to create healthier and more resilient communities through community-engaged research and practice. So please join me in congratulating the award-winning, the innovative, and the compassionate students of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Thornton Dill, Professor of Women's Studies and Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities, affectionately known as RHU. Graduates from our college are global visionaries and creative problem solvers. They have the skills to make an excellent living and the knowledge to make a meaningful life. They write well, read critically, listen actively, communicate effectively, and think creatively. They are culturally aware and linguistically adept. They are world wise. And if you've ever wondered what a person in the arts and humanities does with their degree, know that 98% of last year's graduates were placed in jobs, graduate school service programs, or started their own businesses within 6 months of graduation. Graduates, yes, please applaud. Graduates, you have a lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to, so if you are RHU, please stand up and give yourselves a big round of applause. Congratulations. All right.
Will the graduates of the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences, known as BSOS, please stand? My name is Greg Ball, and I'm the Dean of the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. President Lowe, I present to you this year's graduates from BSOS. You have before you the next generation of social scientists who will address our political gridlock, predict the future of our economy, fight crime, promote social and racial justice, understand and treat mental illness and sensory deficits, map and understand how we live in our changing planet, and promote cultural competence. I suggest you allow these graduates to commence to the next stage of their lives. Congratulations all.
I'm Interim Dean Ritu Agarwal from the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Will the candidates from the Smith School of Business please stand? Good evening, Smith School graduates. Today you have reached a remarkable life milestone. You've earned a diploma from the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Congratulations. This is a credential that you will have for the rest of your life, and it has given you a brand new identity. You are now officially fearless leaders, poised to become agents of transformation in the organizations you will work for. You've been taught by some of the finest professors in the world whose research and scholarship are renowned, and who are at the cutting edge of their disciplines. Applause, please. Thank you. The Smith School staff have worked tirelessly to ensure that you have an outstanding student experience. And of course, your classmates and friends have been your important source of social support and your network while you were in college. As you go out into the world, remember what you learned in your classes, that being successful is as much about achievement as it is about being principled in everything you do, that the world admires leaders who lead and manage with conscience and with empathy. Remember to base your decisions on facts and data and evidence, and to fearlessly search for the best answer, and to never be satisfied with shortcuts. I will leave you with the words of Bob Smith, after whom the Smith School is named, whose portrait you passed by every day as you wandered in the halls of Van Munching. It is my dream that every student who graduates from this school will be an ambitious dreamer, a courageous risk taker, and a principled ethical leader who will work to make this world a better place. Smith School graduates, go forth and make Bob Smith's vision come true. Remember, we're always here for you. Don't forget to get off that dead horse when it's truly dead, and come back and engage in lifelong learning. Good luck.
I am Amita Vashne, proud Dean of the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences. Will all the graduates of CMNS please rise and be recognized? These graduates will become world-renowned scientists, mathematicians, researchers, healthcare providers, teachers, entrepreneurs, and innovators. They will discover new therapeutics and cures for diseases. They will enhance our understanding of global ecosystems, the atmosphere, and the universe. They will use data science and machine learning to drive innovation. They will make internet a more secure space. And they will invent technologies like quantum computers that will transform life as we know it. These graduates will have a huge impact on our world. If you are a fearless science terp, please give a big cheer. Congratulations, science terps.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Rice, and I am the proud Dean of the College of Education. I want to first just take a moment to thank Senate President Miller for his many, many years of tremendous support of K-12 public education in this state, the education that got many of you here tonight. With the graduates of, thank you. With the graduates of the College of Education, please stand and be recognized. The College of Education prepares its graduates to take on one of the most important and consequential challenges of our day, preparing the next generation of global citizens who are equipped to contribute to the economic, political, and civic fabric of our communities, our nation, and our world. Graduates of our College of Education will be teachers, counselors, policymakers, scholars, and transformative leaders who reflect our values of excellence and equity, diversity and inclusion, and who are committed to work that improves the opportunities and outcomes of all individuals. Graduates, this is an awesome responsibility, but I know that you are prepared to take it on. You have much to be proud of and much to look forward to. Congratulations.
Good evening. My name is Darrell Pines, and I am the proud Dean of the A. James Clark School of Engineering. Will the graduates stand and be recognized? Congratulations. President Lowe, Provost Rankin, General Clapper, Board of Regents, Senate President Mike Miller, this happens to be our 125th year. This stole that I am wearing honors all of those graduates, both past and present, who stand on the shoulders of giants. These graduates will reflect and solve problems that will help humanity, including making our country safe, secure, more sustainable, more healthy, and yes, make life even more satisfying. These graduates represent all that we offer as Terps. These are Clark School engineers. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Boris Lushniak. I'm humbled to be the Dean of the School of Public Health. Will public health graduates please stand? So every school here is important. Every school does something incredible for our society. But without the health of our communities, our individual health, the health of our family, we are nothing. Graduates, you have a mission ahead of you. The mission is to prevent disease and injury, to promote health and well-being with the ideal of prolonging a high quality of life. The nobility of that mission, the humility of that mission, the importance of that mission is extreme. You do it with attitude. You realize that ahead of us are multiple obstacles. Just open the paper and see what's ahead of you. That should inspire you to work. Opioid addiction, a public health issue? Yes. Gun violence, a public health issue? Yes. Food stamp restrictions, a public health issue? Yes. Addictions, obesity, lack of exercise, diabetes, let's tackle those head on. I'm going to ask the faculty of the School of Public Health to stand. I'm going to ask the friends and family members of the School of Public Health graduates to stand. Because you are not alone in this battle. You are here surrounded by loved ones. You are here surrounded by your faculty and teachers. Take on this challenge. Do good and be happy in that mission. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Keith Marzullo, and I'm the proud Dean of the College of Information Studies. Will the graduates of Information Studies please stand? There they are. The iSchool is fortunate to be a growing college. The number of students in our college have tripled over the last 3 years. Our very young undergraduate program is already one of the 10 largest at the University of Maryland, and our Master of Library and Information Studies program and our Master of Science and Human-Computer Interaction continue to grow rapidly. Our undergraduate program is a discovery major. Because it's new, virtually all of the diverse and talented set of students learn of our program only after arriving at the university. And you, students who did find us and liked what you discovered, you share not only a passion for information and what it can do, but also a desire to fearlessly harness data and technology for social, economic, and environmental good. In the last 2 years, we've had 4 students who have been selected to attend the University Scholars Leadership Symposium because of their demonstrated leadership abilities and a commitment to effective, positive change across the globe. We've had 3 students selected as Forbes Under 30 Scholars, which focus on identifying a diverse set of high-achieving students from top schools for inclusion in the Forbes Under 30 Summit. Truthfully, though, all of our students are awesome. We get our strength from you. As you continue your journey, don't lose sight of our values to fearlessly move the world forward through information. Keep in touch, don't be a stranger, and go Terps.
Good evening.
I'm Lucy Dalglish, Dean of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. Will the Merrill College graduates please stand? Dr. Lowe, I am proud to introduce these remarkable, truth-seeking journalists. They've had an amazing year. In the last year, they have worked with the Associated Press to investigate the shocking rate of suicides in local jails. Their original work was published by more than 200 news organizations across the country, including the New York Times and the Washington Post. 11 of these students spent the summer working with NPR on a series of climate change reports about the public health threat of heat islands in Baltimore's lower-income neighborhoods. The broadcast version of that report was heard by almost 2 million people. Just last week, some of them collaborated with the PBS NewsHour for a report on the more than 2,000 inmates across the country sentenced when they were juveniles to life in prison. Despite a Supreme Court decision 8 years ago that declared that practice to be cruel and unusual punishment, many of these inmates are in their 50s and 60s and still waiting for parole. The NewsHour episode was watched by more than 1 million households. These journalists have demonstrated that they have learned how to report courageously, ethically, and thoroughly using a variety of technologies and platforms. They have learned to speak truth to power, and they have shed light on the less fortunate. They will help our democracy thrive. Congratulations, graduates. I'm very proud of you.
Good evening. I'm Bob Orr, Dean of the School of Public Policy, and I would like to begin by recognizing President Miller and General Clapper as two of the absolute finest public servants that our university, our state, and our country could ask for. Thank you for showing the way. Will the candidates in public policy please rise and be recognized? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, these students before you have worked and studied and pursued the public good in ways big and small. They have recognized and helped to implement the Paris Climate Agreement. They have made governance work, advising governments and nonprofits in Prince George's County, Annapolis, Washington, D.C., and New Delhi, and have helped to draft legislation in all 4 of those locations. They have founded new social ventures to end hunger, save scarce natural resources, and stop human trafficking. They have proven that even in 2019, discourse can be civil, debates can be productive, and common cause can be found everywhere. In short, my friends, these students before you will make governing cool again. And they will do so, and they will do well as doing good here and into the future. Congratulations, Policy Terps.
I'm Steve Fitter, Dean of the Graduate School, which this year celebrated 100 years of graduate education at the University of Maryland. Will all students receiving master's degrees please stand? The master's degree recognizes advanced study in an academic discipline or professional practice. You have demonstrated the ability to solve complex problems and think rigorously and independently. You are now a master in your field or profession. Congratulations. Will all students receiving doctoral degrees please stand? You are receiving the highest degree awarded by the University of Maryland. The PhD is what defines us as a research university. You have spent long hours in laboratories and libraries and hunched over a computer writing code and doing analysis and writing chapters and journal articles. Most importantly, you've demonstrated the ability to do independent and original research and scholarship. You are creators of knowledge and experts from whom other researchers and scholars will learn. Congratulations.
Good evening. I'm William Cohen, Dean for Undergraduate Studies. The Office of Undergraduate Studies runs programs that reach every student on this campus. We oversee the Honors College, College Park Scholars, the Academic Achievement Programs, Letters and Sciences, the Incentive Awards programs, and many other offices that extend across the whole university, including the General Education Program, through which all undergraduates take classes in a variety of subjects. Today, we recognize those graduates for whom the more than 100 majors offered at this university did not suffice. These fearless students designed their own rigorous interdisciplinary majors in the Individual Studies program. We recognize the bachelor degree recipients in Individual Studies majors. Congratulations.
Good evening. I'm Adrienne Lim, Dean of Libraries. Would all students who have used the libraries, either in person or online, please stand. We love you in the libraries, and we wish you the best in this next chapter of your lives. Congratulations, and keep reading.
Thank you, Deans, and it's great to see the energy and the enthusiasm of our graduates. I am now honored to introduce Brigadier General Paul Johnson, Commander of the 175th Wing of the Maryland Air National Guard and an aerospace engineering graduate of the University of Maryland. His wife, Joyce, by the way, is here. She is also a Terp, and she studied psychology. General Johnson will now administer the oath of office to our newest second lieutenants and ensigns. General Johnson.
I'd like to take a moment to discuss the oath of office you're about to take. Oaths have existed in the United States since the early colonial days when Pilgrims established the Mayflower Compact. 2 years after the Constitution was signed, the first bill in the first session of the first Congress was passed into law. It established the oath required by civil and military officials to support the Constitution. Military oaths have been around since the ancient Roman times. Many pledged loyalty to a specific general officer for a specific campaign. You're not swearing to support a general officer, the president, or any individual, the country, the flag, or a particular service, but rather the Constitution. By swearing or affirming, you signify a public statement of commitment, and you are accepting responsibility for your actions. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic, means you must always be prepared to fight our nation's current and future wars. When you take this obligation freely, your word is your bond, and without integrity, our moral pillar is lost. I hope we have a better understanding of the oath you take today. You will renew this oath each time you are promoted. Our oath is more than a formality that adds flair to the commissioning ceremony. It is the foundation of our military. Now, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Having been appointed a second lieutenant, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations and thank you for your service to our country. Finally, the most important moment has arrived, the moment when you're officially authorized to receive your degrees. Now, provost ranking will come up shortly to announce the many diplomas we are giving out today. But perhaps I thought, since there are many parents and friends here, I should take a moment to describe the meaning of these diplomas. You see, when you are in high school and you thought that you know everything there is to know, that's when they give you a high school diploma. Then you come to college and you realize that there is so much you do not know. There's so much more that you want to learn. When that dawns upon you, that is when you are ready to receive a bachelor's degree. Now, if you hang around a little bit longer and you do more studies here, and it further dawns upon you that not only do you know very little, but your professors know very little too. That is when the university confers upon you the PhD. After all, what is education but the progressive discovery of our own ignorance? As the poet Yeats said, education is not the filling of a pail, it's the lighting of a flame, instilling a passion for learning that will last a lifetime. So if we have done our jobs well, we, the faculty and the staff of this university, which I believe we have, you will be learners forever. So now I call upon Provost Ranking to come forward and present the candidates for the degrees.
I'd like to take just a moment to add my thanks to those of others today, to Senate President Mike Miller and General Clapper for their extraordinary public service. It's an honor to be on the same stage with these gentlemen. Mr. President, in accordance with the recommendation of the faculties of the schools and colleges, and in recognition of the successful completion of all degree requirements, I request that you confer upon these candidates the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Landscape Architecture, Bachelor of Music Education, Bachelor of Science, Master of Applied Anthropology, Master of Architecture, Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Chemical and Life Sciences, Master of Community Planning, Master of Education, Master of Engineering, Master of Engineering and Public Policy, Master of Finance, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Health Administration, Master of Historic Preservation, Master of Information Management, Master of Journalism, Master of Landscape Architecture, Master of Library and Information Science, Master of Music, Master of Professional Studies, Master of Public Health, Master of Public Management, Master of Public Policy, Master of Quantitative Finance, Master of Real Estate Development, Master of Science, Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Musical Arts, and Doctor of Philosophy, as appropriate in each case. Will all candidates for all degrees please stand? Congratulations, sir.
I am pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation under the authority granted by the State of Maryland to the Board of Regents and by the authority that the board has delegated to me. I am delighted to confirm upon you, the candidates, the degrees as appropriate in each case. So please join me in one more round of applause for today's graduates. You may be seated. And I now call upon Jim Spencer, President of the University of Maryland Alumni Association, to welcome our graduates to the ranks of the alumni. When he was here as a TERP, I think you studied accounting, is that correct? He is the Chief Financial Officer and Executive Vice President of a very large health organization in Baltimore, and he was a member of Sigma Chi. Welcome back to your alma mater.
Thank you, President Lowe. Good evening. It is an honor for me to welcome you, the class of 2019, into the University of Maryland alumni family. Beginning today and for the rest of your life, you will be a part of a proud legacy, an amazing network of dedicated, diverse, and hardworking alumni, more than 377,000 strong. Our Maryland community spans the globe. Wherever your travels may take you, now or in many years from now, expect to run into fellow Terps, doing good, staying fearless, and making significant contributions to the well-being of their communities. With your graduation, you have achieved something special. You have taken the first step to a post-college life that will offer you numerous opportunities to learn, to achieve success, and to aim for greatness. Your degree is not the only prized possession you're leaving Maryland with. You are also taking with you the memories you made here on campus, memories you will cherish for the rest of your life. Among those are many time-honored Terp traditions you've come to love, like rubbing Testudo's nose for good luck before finals, or dancing all night at Terpthon. Your Maryland education has prepared you to do well and to do good. Always remember, Terps look out for one another. We embrace the opportunity to serve the common good. The first step you can take to honor and carry forward this Terp legacy is to join the University of Maryland Alumni Association. The Alumni Association will help you to stay active with countless networking opportunities, game watches, volunteer opportunities, and more, to stay informed with alumni publications like the Terp magazine and other news sources, and to stay connected with Maryland through the many programs both here on campus and in your neighborhood. As you leave College Park, display your degree proudly. In turn, Maryland will continue to make you proud to be a Terp. I encourage you to join me as a member of the University of Maryland Alumni Association, and remember that no matter where you go in life, always stay fearless. Congratulations, and go Terps.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for your leadership and service to our Alumni Association. The late Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall said that none of us got to where we are solely on our own. As talented and dedicated as you, the graduates, are, nobody is entirely self-made. Somebody in the course of your lives leaned over, helped you put on your shoes, taught you how to tie those shoes, and because of that person or those persons, that's why you are here today. I'm speaking, of course, of your parents and other family members. So this is what I would like to do, especially given the words of General Clapper about hugging your parents. Now, it's hard to hug your parents, but we'll do something equivalent to hugging your parents. And we're going to choreograph this. So we're going to do it in 3 steps, and I want the wind ensemble to be ready. So let me describe the 3 steps first. One, in a moment, I'm going to ask all the parents and relatives and friends who are here to stand up. That's one. Then the ensemble will play a salute. And as they play the salute, that's the second part. The third part is I want all the graduates to stand and cheer your parents, your relatives, and your friends who are here today. Okay? All right. All the parents and friends, please stand up. The students, please stand up. Hug them. Thank you. You may be seated. I would now like to ask Peter to come to the podium to lead our graduates in the long-standing tradition that recognizes the receipt of your degrees.
Thank you, President. Graduates, the moment you have been waiting for. On the count of 3, please follow me in the tassel switch from right to left. Can I get a drum roll, please? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, graduates.
So, to all the family members and friends of the graduates who are here today in the audience, I'm just curious, how many of you went to the University of Maryland? Wow, look at, my guess is somewhere around 25% or so. So what do we do about all the others who are not Terps? Well, by the authority vested in me as president to do what I like, I now confer upon you the title of Honorary Terps. Congratulations. In a few moments, Nina Anderson and Craig Potter in the Maryland Wind Ensemble will lead us in the singing of the Alma Mater. I believe the words are in your program or on the screen. But I will first like to recite the words because I can't carry a tune. So I would like to recite the words approximately, and then I'm going to raise my arm. And when I say Maryland, I want you to yell as loudly as you can so that the walls of Xfinity start to shake. I want you to yell Maryland, okay? Hail, Alma Mater, hail to thee. Steadfast in loyalty, we stand for. Love for the black and gold, deep in our hearts we hold. Singing thy praise forever throughout. Go Terps! Go! Please stand for the singing of the Alma Mater. Please be seated. We now come to the conclusion of the 2019 December commencement exercises. Now, I would like to invite the graduates, whoever is interested and available, as well as your friends and family, to come to the small gym at Xfinity. That's the pavilion, that's the name of it, on the first floor. That's where you assembled before you processed in. I will be there. I would be pleased to shake your hand, meet your parents, and of course, give you and your family a gold turtle pin. Now, let me also remind you that this turtle pin, although I buy them in bulk at 93 cents, you cannot buy it anywhere else. You can only get it from me. So that means that this pin is priceless. And if you hold on to it, the value will go up. So please don't do as some of your fellow students are doing who are very entrepreneurial in putting it on eBay. Because the last time I looked, it was going for around $15. But if you hold on to it, the value will increase. And the reason I want to do it, because, you know, in an earlier period of my life was the dean of a college, and I love to be at commencement and shake the hand of every single graduate. Of course, given the size of our institution, we cannot do that. But I still remember, I went to an alumni reunion of the college where I was the dean, and this alumnus comes running up to me and said, "Dr. Lowe, do you remember me?" I was in this graduating class, and as I was walking across the stage to get my diploma, you leaned over and you whispered something in my ears, and that has been the secret to my success in life. I said, "Really? What did I tell you?" Move along, move along. Well, tonight, we're in no rush. You don't need to move along. Happy to stand there, chat with you and your parents, have a photo, give them a turtle pin. And of course, we can take selfies together. Now, it's also been my practice. As you know, I have a social media account. I have Twitter. And I like to invite graduates to tweet me about their experience. So for example, I had a reception for the graduating seniors that was at University House about several days ago. Some of them did tweet me. But I have a collection of them over the years, and I would like to share with you some of those tweets. And I promised the students I would, but I will not identify them by name, not in a way that's recognizable. Because I thought that the family, your parents, your friends, to hear about the experiences of a whole variety of students in 6 words may perhaps give them a feel of what it was like to be a student at University of Maryland, College Park. So, in 6 words or less, Pranay wrote, fastest 4 years of my life. Sahar wrote, so proud to be a Terp. Sharon, UMD is home away from home. Randall, I grew up so much here. Chris, rub Testudo's nose, I'll be okay. Jesse, I learned, I explored, I transformed. Kim, and my guess is Kim is probably an international student. This is what Kim wrote. Traveled 7,000 miles, worth every mile. Rachel, access to amazing opportunities and resources. Harold, wow, here my dreams came true. John, my life and outlook changed forever. And one of my favorites of all time, and many others have expressed the same idea, but I'm going to quote Sarah, it's wistful and it's plaintive, but it touches my heart. Why are you making me leave? So I would like to conclude our commencement this evening by responding to Sarah. And I will conclude to explain why it is time to go by quoting the immortal words of that great philosopher, Dr. Seuss, who wrote for children of all ages. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You are on your own. You know what you know. You decide where to go. Now, I'm going to digress for a moment and comment that sadly, it is true. Hang-ups can happen to you. There'll be times when you mix up your right shoe with your left shoe, where your arms get sore, when your sneakers leak. But remember, you are a Terp. The reason the motto for Maryland is the terrapin turtle is that that particular creature that grows in the marshes of the mid-Atlantic has this very interesting characteristic. That turtle can only walk forward, it cannot walk backwards. And how does the terrapin walk forward? One step at a time, sticking its neck out, thinking big, aiming high, never giving up, never giving in. That attitude of chutzpah, of grit, is what's made the University of Maryland the school that it is, one step at a time, going forward. This is why generations of Terps live lives of accomplishment, commitment, and service. So getting back to quoting Dr. Seuss. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. God bless you,
and Godspeed.
Thank you.